You are watching lesson number 14, Doodly Asset Settings for Characters, Props, and Text. If you are struggling to figure things out, don't worry and don't give up. Stick with it. The more you use the software, the easier things will become. I'm confident you're gonna get it. It just may take you a little time. Okay, let's get after it. In this tutorial, I'm going to live up to my statement I made to you in our previous video and show you another method for using layers. But before I do that, let me explain some other key features within the Doodly app. Here we are back at the scene that we created in our last lesson. If you notice, when I click on an asset, a menu appears giving me more options. Now, it doesn't matter which of these assets I click on, I'm going to be presented with options. For the dotted box, my options are asset setting, flip, bring forward, send backwards, and remove, which will delete it from the scene. Now, keep in mind that each asset will have its own set of options. Not all options are available. It just depends on what type of asset you're modifying. For example, this green arrow provides 6 different options, but this text box only provides 4. The man, he provides 5, and the cityscape provides 6. Let's take a look at our options for the cityscape. The first option I have here is edit. I'm going to click on it, and this lets me modify the draw path. And when I say draw path, I mean how the hand will draw the image onto the canvas. Now, the cityscape image is not an original image that Doodly provides. This is an image that I uploaded into the Doodly software. And whenever you import your own image into the Doodly software, there is no draw path associated with it. What that means is that Doodly will make an attempt to draw it out for you, but you will more than likely want to modify the draw path because Doodly doesn't do a very realistic job at drawing images that aren't original to the software. Now, I don't teach you how to use the draw paths in this tutorial, but if you sign up for my advanced tutorial, you'll learn all you need to know there. Just visit videocaboose.com and you can sign up over there. If you click on this option and you want to exit out of it, you simply come down here and you click the return without saving button. Next, let's click on this gear icon in order to access the Doodly asset setting. As you can see, I'm given a variety of options to customize this particular asset. Hi everybody, Kellyanne here. Now you can watch each of these videos at videocaboose.com where they are neatly organized for you into one continuous tutorial, and that makes it super easy for you to pick up where you left off. If you still need to purchase the Doodly software, I placed the link down in the description box. Click on it. All of my videos are free to share on social media channels by clicking the share button. And oh yeah, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Alright, let's get back to work. The first option here is to change the X or Y axis. Now, what does that mean, Kellyanne? Well, let me tell you. Making changes to the X axis will move the image either left or right, and making changes to the Y axis will move the image either up or down. Let me show you. I'm gonna change this number to 200 and I'll click apply. See how the image moved to the right? Now, let's right click and let's click undo in order to restore the original settings. Okay, now let's click the gear icon again, and this time we're going to add a negative sign in front of the 2. Then I'm going to click apply. See how the image moved to the left? And that's what the X and Y feature does. It moves images either left or right. Okay, let's click on the Doodly asset settings gear icon again. I can change how wide the asset is by changing this number, and I can change the height of the image by changing this number. Now, if I wanted to rotate the asset to a certain degree, I can do that by either clicking the plus or minus sign or highlighting this number and typing in a new one. And if I wanted to flip the image, I could simply click on this drop-down box and select horizontal. Okay, moving on. I can change the color of the asset by clicking here. Now, there is a caveat to changing the color of an asset that you have imported, and here it is. You can't change the color of an asset you have imported. It is what it is. If you don't like the color of an asset that's not a part of the Doodly family, you'll have to change it before you import it. However, you can change the opacity by making changes to this number here. Keep in mind, opacity controls how dense the object appears on the screen. For example, let's say that I wanted to lighten the intensity of the cityscape. All I have to do is change the opacity to, let's just say 60%. And then I'll click apply. And there it is. It's much lighter and somewhat transparent. And if you find this to be too light, you can always increase the opacity level. And if it's not light enough and you want some more transparency, you can always decrease the opacity level. And if you don't like it at all, just right click and select undo and it'll return to its original state. Okay, let's continue. Now, let's take a look at exit animation. By default, it's on draw, and that just means that Doodly will draw out the asset when it enters the scene. However, if you don't want an asset to be drawn out, you can click on the drop-down box and select none, and then click apply, and the asset will simply appear on the screen without being drawn out. Let me show you. I'm gonna click this preview button, and then I'll click play. See how the background simply appeared on the screen without any drawing, yet the hand drew out the other assets? Okay, I changed the settings a little bit. Now let's see if you can spot the changes. I'm going to click the play button again. Did you notice this time the background was drawn out, but the cityscape just appeared? And that's the difference between the option to draw and none. Okay, let's get out of here and let's go back to asset settings. I'm going to click on the hide preview button and then I'll click back on the cityscape. If you choose the draw option, this section is asking you how long you want it to take for the asset to be completely drawn out. You can use the plus or minus buttons, or you can highlight this and put in a number in order to make adjustments. If you notice, the option to add sound is not available. That's because the enter animation is set to none. What the sound option does is allow you to add a sound to play when the hand first begins to draw the asset. Now, if I change this option back to draw, you'll notice that the option to add sound will reappear. If you wanted to add sound, just select it here. And this box sets how many seconds the sound is to be stretched out for. Now, I'm not gonna set this feature right now because you won't be able to hear the sound through my headset, but by all means, choose one of these sounds for an asset within your scene so that you can get an idea how this works and you can see if it's a feature that you would like to incorporate into one of your videos. If you set a sound to play and you want to cancel it, simply click this small X in the right hand corner and a pop-up will appear asking you if you want to delete the sound. Just click OK and the sound effect will be removed. And finally, we have exit animation. Now, exit animation works exactly the same as enter animation, except instead of having the draw option, you have the option for the asset to be erased. Now, selecting none will cause the asset to simply disappear when it's time for it to leave the scene. And selecting erase will cause the asset to be erased with an eraser when it's time for it to exit off the screen. Now at the very bottom here, you have the invert feature, and by default, it's turned off. I don't teach the invert feature in this tutorial. I do, however, go into great detail about how to use this feature in my advanced tutorial. If you want to learn all about how to use this feature, just visit videocaboose.com and sign up for the class. Now, the very last option in this screen is the Doodly Rainbow option. Notice that I do not have the option to turn Doodly Rainbow on for this asset. That's because this is not an original Doodly asset. I imported this asset into Doodly from my computer. You can turn Doodly Rainbow on, but only for authentic Doodly assets. Here, let me show you. I'm going to get out of here and then I'm going to click on the man. Now, the man is the property of Doodly. So I'll click the asset settings button and see I'm given the option to turn Doodly Rainbow on or off. I'll turn it off and I'll click apply just so that you can see how this works. See how the color was removed? Remember, Doodly Rainbow does not come with your membership by default. It is an add-on. If you want to purchase the Doodly Rainbow feature, you can do so by clicking on this My Videos link, and then I want you to scroll down here and I want you to click on this arrow in order to expose all of the Doodly add-ons, and then simply click on Doodly Rainbow add-on. Well guys, that's enough for now. Knowing how to properly use Doodly asset settings is so important to having your videos stand out from the crowd. A well laid out scene can take your videos from 0 to hero. I mean, we live in such a competitive world. Trust me when I tell you that every little detail matters. I don't expect for you to become an expert at selecting the correct settings after watching a handful of tutorials. But I do expect you to become an expert over time by applying the things that you're learning and always striving to grow your knowledge base and improve on your techniques. Now, this is not rocket scientist stuff, guys, but you're only going to get out of it what you put in it. With a lot of dedication and hard work, I'm confident that you're going to do just fine. In our next lesson, we'll learn a second method for using Doodly layers, so be sure to come back for that. So, when you are ready to power forward, head on over to lesson number 15 and I'll see you there.